Hello, welcome to December 2021. My name is Lynette Clement, and I will be reading from the December 2021 issue of the Love Exquisite Magazine. And I'm reading in the section titled Learning by Design. If you don't know by now, you can access the Love Exquisite Magazine on loveexquisite.com. LOVEXQUISITE.com. And the magazine is an online magazine, and you can subscribe to it for free. So the article is titled Be Ready. In life, we are not always adequately prepared for everything that we encounter. The best thing that we can do with our lives is to be ready for whatever it is that we say we want. If you want to get married, make sure that you prepare yourself to be the best husband or the best wife that you can be by first being the best person to yourself, for yourself. If you want to have children, make sure that you prepare yourself to be able to provide love, nourishment, support, and financial stability that it take and the financial stability that it takes to raise children. If you want to build relationships with others or commingle thoughts, ideas, perspectives, behaviors, and respect other people's opinion, you have to be ready to you do have to be ready to respect other people's opinions. That's let me read that again. So, if you want to build relationships with others, make sure that you are ready to learn how to communicate and commingle thoughts, ideas, perspectives, and behaviors, as well as respect the opinions of others, even if you don't always agree with them. Be ready for what you say you want. That's the ultimate purpose of this article. Be ready for whatever it is that you say you want. Prepare yourself for I'm sorry. Prepare for what you say you want. Prepare for what you say you want. If you want to be wealthy, make sure that you invest and spend your money wisely. Don't just make a blanket statement. Actually do the work to prepare yourself to travel along that journey of wealth. And you also have to understand business acumen and how marketing works if you want to be wealthy. You can do anything. You can do anything that you put your mind and actions and efforts to do. Prepare yourself so that you are ready to receive what you want and can maintain it for a long period of time. So your readiness is important. I did an article on readiness in one of the other issues of the magazine that you should check it out. I do record these on YouTube as well. Some of them. There's plenty of information out there in the magazine that I do not get to read to you. There's topics about health and wellness. There's important topics about mental health. There's important topics about business and finance. So make sure that you subscribe to the magazine. It's a monthly publication that comes out online on the first of every month. So back to the article titled Be Ready. Everyone is capable of great things. By putting in the work, you can achieve great things, no matter who you are or where you come from. So keep that in mind. People usually like to put you in a box and say, "Oh, if you come from poverty, you're always going to be impoverished." But that is not true. No matter where you are in life today does not mean that that is your final destination. So always remember that. So as a parent, importantly, because sometimes you instill ideologies in your kids' mind based on what you say to them. So keep that in mind, that even if a kid is a C student, it doesn't mean that they can't achieve great things later on in life. So as a parent, don't accept that your child cannot do something. when it is your job to teach them. You are that child's first teacher. So it's your job as a parent to teach your child whatever it is that you want them to know and learn, and how you want them to grow as into adulthood. However you want them to grow into adulthood to be, it is your job to instill those qualities and characteristics in your child. You are your child's first teacher. If you are a child whose parents did not adequately prepare you for life, don't dwell in the thought of what you were not taught. So don't dwell and say, oh, well, if my mom would have done this, or if my dad would have done this, or if my dad had been around, or if my mom would have been in my life. Don't dwell on those things. Figure out what you want to do, but were not taught. And then do the research for yourself to find information on what you need to do to learn how to do it. It's just that simple. Surround yourself with people moving in the direction that you want to go, and learn from them on what to do as well as on what not to do. We need to be ready to handle every situation in life so that challenging times do not defeat us. We need to be ready to handle every situation in life so that challenging times do not defeat us. Be ready. We have to be ready as much as possible in all aspects of our lives. When entering a relationship, as you know, I stumble over my words, but I'll go back for clarity. So when entering in a relationship, don't do it unless you're ready. So a lot of people enter into these relationships prematurely, knowing that they're not ready to commit, knowing they're not ready to do the work that it will entail to be able to sustain the relationship over time. So don't do it until you are ready. Don't get into a relationship, a serious committed relationship, until you are ready to do so. So and when you're entering into a relationship, keep this in mind. So when you meet someone new, one important thing to note is that the new person that you met has nothing to do with the fact that you have been single for any specific period of time. So that new person is not the reason why you've been single for so long. So despite how long it has been since your last relationship, you should not, I repeat, you should not try to pressure the person you just met to move quickly, to love you, to be intimate with you, to invite you into your personal space, your inner circle, etc. He or she has nothing to do with how long it took you to meet them. So take your time to make sure that you are truly ready for a relationship, and to get to know the person to see if he or she is someone that you could even build a future with. So too often we rush into relationships, not even getting to know the person, and am I even going to like this person as a person? So you want to make sure that you take your time. If you've been sexless for several years, don't pressure the person that you just meet to meet up with you and to have sex, or whatever the situation might be, just because you waited so long. They have nothing to do with that. Nothing. They just came on the scene. So respect them enough to wait. So if you are planning to start a new career, this is another scenario. In terms of how you should be ready for different areas of your life. So this is on the topic of a new career. Make sure that you ask important questions that often get overlooked, like during the interview process. So ask questions like, what are the days and hours required for this position, which they usually don't tell you until after they offer you the job. Is health insurance a part of the benefit package? That is an important question, especially if everybody should have health insurance coverage. Where is the physical location of the office that you will work in if you're hired? And because sometimes the office that you go to interview in is not always the main office where you will work out of. So you want to make sure that you are prepared to travel the distance that you will have to travel if in the event that you get hired and accept the job. How many people will I support, and will I have support in this position? So sometimes you interview with maybe one or two people, but then when you get on the job, you see that you're supporting 10 people, and it's like, whoa, wait a minute, where do all these people come from? So you definitely want to ask these important questions so that you are ready, and so that you can make an informed decision about whether or not you want to proceed. You also want to say, who will support me in this position, and how will this person support me? So what type, you also want to ask, what does a typical day look like for this person in this role? Like, what are the expectations? What am I expected to do? What is this person in this role expected to do? Is the position overwhelming? That way you can determine if the position is overwhelming, and is something, and if it's something that you can and are willing to do. You also want to ask the important question, is the salary competitive? And is there opportunities for professional development and growth in this position? So sometimes when people hire, some organizations, the last thing they want to do is see you move up. And that's because they don't want to rehire for that same position immediately, or they don't want to know that you'll outgrow the position and you'll leave, and then they'll be looking for another person to replace you. So you want to ask that question. You also want to ask about the salary and whether it's competitive or not, because you have to live, you have bills, so you have to make sure that you're able to pay your bills. Also, you want to ask is your technology up to date? Because I don't know if you've ever worked on a job where they had dinosaur computers and still using fax machines and all kinds of outdated equipment that people normally don't use. They don't have access to a working scanner. And so you want, the technology systems are behind, so you can't just do a data dump. You have to manually enter in everything yourself. So these are things that you have to ask, because it's going to be a part of your job if you take the job. You also want to ask, do you have external partnerships that could impact your job? That's an important question, because some companies outsource. And if they outsource certain services, who's the main point of contact within the organization that they will need to be in contact with? Will that person be you? And will they require, will that increase, will what they need increase your workload? So you want to ask that important question as well. What are some of the challenges? This is another good one. What are some of the challenges that the person in this position could encounter? That is a great question to ask, and it's great because you want to make sure that you're not faced with obstacles and distractions that will make your job difficult for you to be effective. So sometimes if you have to wait on the approval of someone that never gives approval, and it's hard for you to do your job, you want to know what are some of those challenges, and then determine if there are challenges that you can work through, or if they are challenges that you don't want to deal with. So these are things that you have to ask. All of these questions can help to determine if the position is something that you want to accept, or if you accept the position, it will prepare you to know how to handle those things should they occur, so you can be ready. So as you can see, you have to be ready in every aspect of your life, not just in your relationships, not just in life in general, on the job as well. So no matter what you want to do with your life, just be ready to handle it when it comes. So challenges are going to come. You're going to have triumphs and trials. But just be ready no matter what you want to do with your life. Just be ready to handle it when you get exactly what you want. Be ready. That is in the Learning by Design section of the Love Exquisite magazine for December 2021.